Hey, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, then hi, my name is Erica, and today I am going to be talking about Nick Vujicic. I really hope I'm saying that right. I swear I watched some videos from him last night to learn the pronunciation, but I cannot for the life of me figure out exactly how he is saying it. So hopefully I'm saying it right. And I got my little letterboard in the background, which I'm kind of excited about. Hopefully on screen it comes out right, because it's backwards since I record on my phone. So I record in selfie mode. So in selfie mode, everything's backwards. So I had to figure out how to spell his name backwards. And you probably did not want to know all of that. But, okay, so unfortunately I forgot to say this in my video. But, you'll probably see in the clips. But Nick Vujicic was born with no arms and no legs. So when I'm talking about inspiration porn, it's because he is disabled. And somehow I forgot to add that in this video. I don't know how I would forget that. I guess for me, since I'm disabled, when I'm talking about someone disabled, sometimes I feel like when I say things like inspiration porn, it's a given, but I realize it's not. That's just my own, preconceived ideas. So I just wanted to clear that up so that there's no confusion there. The reason I'm talking about this is actually because in one of my classes, somebody wrote that their son saw a video of Nick Vujicic in his middle school, and how she thinks that is a sign that kids are learning about disabilities at a younger age. And I would like to counter that, because here's the thing. As somebody who's disabled, I still have lots of kids coming up to me asking me questions like, what's wrong with you? And I want to be clear here that I do not fault kids for asking questions, because that is the only way kids know how to learn. So I don't fault kids. But I do think it is wrong to say because kids are watching a video by a disabled motivational speaker that they're learning about disability and they're becoming more accepting. And the reason why, which I actually have a whole video on some of the issues with motivational speaking, but I'm going to touch on it a bit in this video too, because and this is even not even directly related to the motivational speaking itself, but more specifically motivational speaking when it comes from disabled people. Okay, and one last thing I forgot to say in the video, which I show in some clips, but Nick Vujicic uses the word disabled to mean something negative. Like in his one video, he says, if you don't know these three things, then you are more disabled than I am. And I think using the word disabled to mean something bad is harmful to all disabled people, and it contributes to ableism. And I know this may seem nitpicky and it may sound like it's just semantics, but that was just something else I wanted to add. And I know I'm kind of losing my voice. Sorry about that.
You may have arms and legs, but unless you know three things. Number one, who are you and what your value is? Number two, what is your purpose here in life? And number three, what is your destiny when you're done here? If you don't know the answers of any of those three questions, you're more disabled than
I feel as if whether disabled motivational speakers intend for this or not, they almost end up becoming like tokens, like the token disabled person and like the ideal disabled person, and as if regular disabled people are somehow bad because we don't want to inspire people, and we don't want people to be like, well, if you can do this, then what's my excuse? Like, I find that very offensive. And I think Nick Vujicic, I feel like in order to relay his message of like inspiration and keep going and you will succeed and all that motivational speaking mumbo jumbo or whatever you want to say, I think he engages in a lot of inspiration porn. Like he
Excuse the pun, but Nick was dealt the toughest of hands. He was born without them. No arms or legs either. But has it stopped him? No way. As you'll see, his life just gets more and more wonderful.
Talks about how he had to basically overcome his disability, when in fact disabilities are not individual issues that are in the person that they have to overcome. And disability is a complex social issue, and there are systemic barriers working against disabled people. So to boil it down to, well, I just worked hard and I overcame my disability, that is oversimplifying a complex issue, and it's also a form of victim blaming, because then if disabled people are struggling in life, people say to them, oh, well, you're just not trying hard enough, when really it's because there are systemic barriers put into place, and not just barriers as in like physical barriers, but there's discrimination, ableism, inspiration porn is another barrier. There's the income gap, that's a barrier. Housing and like not a lot of access to accessible and affordable housing. Like, there are lots of systemic barriers, and I can go on all day about that, but this video isn't really meant to be about that. But Nick Vujicic is also an evangelist, which, if you know me or if you've watched my videos, especially the ones about like Paul and Morgan and Girl Defined, you know how I feel about evangelists, and recently actually Nick Vujicic released a video on his YouTube channel, because he does have a YouTube channel, which I forgot to mention, but he released a YouTube video on cancel culture and how we need to forgive people instead of trying to enact revenge on them. And now I would like to counter that by saying, first of all, I don't even know if I believe cancel culture exists at this point. And
people are being canceled, right? For who they are. I mean, do you like my quotation marks? Canceled, right? Blocked, right? And they're either blocked and canceled because of who they are or what they believe. I know many people personally on social media, and we know of others who've been totally banned, who've been shadow banned. The algorithms and logarithms, it's kind of, if I, kind of do a post about this, I don't get that many people on traffic on that one, and then I do something that's generic and kind of with everyone else's kind of view, if you will, and all of a sudden that one blows up. It just feels like
I've said this in another video, but I think that people use the term cancel culture to basically silence people who've been harmed by other people. They're basically like, oh, you're just not forgiving them and you're trying to cancel them, when really it's like people are allowed to not support somebody if they've been hurt by them. That is not canceling somebody. And I feel like when people talk about cancel culture being toxic, it's kind of a form of tone policing and saying like, you're allowed to be upset, but not in this way. And it's like, okay, so then how am I allowed to be upset? How am I allowed to feel my feelings and express them when I'm being told that boycotting a show or a singer's music is in some way, shape, or form toxic? Because it's not, and we are free to consume and not consume any type of content we choose. So for people to turn around and say that somehow you're not being forgiving of people and you're not giving them grace, it's like you don't owe anybody anything. And I mean, again, that's just my opinion. And I just feel like Nick Vujicic in general, he wants to be held as like this symbol of human endurance. And it's like, my question to Nick Vujicic, and of course I don't believe he's going to see this video, but in case he does, my question is, why do you want to be held up as this symbol when you can be a real person? Like, I feel like inspiration porn objectifies disabled people by making us objects of inspiration for non-disabled people, so that like non-disabled people will say things like, oh, well, now I realize my life isn't so bad, so I should just keep plugging away. And in that sense, inspiration porn, I believe, also has a lot to do with capitalism and like grind culture. And I just don't understand why a disabled person would willingly want to be an object of inspiration porn, because it's like, wouldn't you rather fight for like disability rights and other social justice issues than to be held up as this token disabled person? And I don't know if I've made sense in this video. I did write out notes, but it's just one of those things that bothers me, and hopefully you learned something or you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give it a big thumbs up. And if you have not already and you are interested in seeing more of my content, please consider hitting that subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again next time. Bye.